Yeah, you know it.
What is up, Buck fans? What's up? Now, wasn't that a beautiful, one of the most beautiful intros you've ever seen? I'm putting that up there with one of the greatest movie intros, Terminator, Godfather, you name it. That was just poetry. Bucko Bruce is back, as you can see. We are fully embracing, representing, and welcome to another episode of Bucks Report, the aftermath. It's a wild Wednesday today. We got a lot to talk about. You already know where we're gonna get to. So I need the fans to hold your load, but you already got your host here with AJ Turn Up and Slick. What's going on, Slick? Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday. Creamsicles are coming, baby. Let's bring it back. Let's get that creamsicle orange in. I never got to see them play in it, so for me, it's going to be a big one. But I just think those jerseys are legitly hot.
I think so too. They are. I remember seeing them. I remember as a kid when we weren't as relevant. The Bucks, the one of the best commercials was Bucks UPN 44, trying to hype them up, sing the song. They'll be like, "The Bucks are here, UPN 44," when UPN was relevant. But I'm just saying, man, this is I rock with this shit because first of all, I like red already, and the orange and the red. Man, look, it's Bucko Bruce. Bucko throwback Bucko Bruce is here, and it'd have been nice if the GOAT could have rocked it, but it's all right. We got
I agree.
Squad. We got Evans, Levante, that's gonna hold it down. Vita Vea. Just imagine this defense if they're like they were last season. A bunch of creamsicle people running at you. I like it.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I mean, I'm hoping it's 2 games. I think it will be 2 games.
They need to be home.
And this is why I'm disappointed in Devin White. Why wouldn't he want to rock the creamsicle?
Oh, well, you know what? Since you didn't brought that out, we got to get that cat out the bag. Yeah. For all you Buck fans out there, we got hit with a bombshell yesterday. For whatever reason, Devin White wants out. He's he's requesting a trade. He would have been on his 5th-year option of his rookie contract. And it's a possibility. I would like to ask this question to Buck fans out there while we talk about it, but I want to know, do you want him to stay? If he leaves, what do you want out of it? Or do you simply release him? So that'll be for the people, but we're going to break it down. I'm kind of baffled by this situation because I don't, Slick, you go ahead. I'm just going to collect
okay. I'll break it down for you because I've been looking at reactions. I've been looking at how other people have been breaking it down, and it is a shocker. Why now? Because you had the beginning of free agency to ask for this, and you did that then someone might trade for you because team like Levante David was being courted by the Bills. Well, when they had money and they had all they might be in a bit more. Okay, well, we'll get the younger model. They might look at it from that perspective. Yeah, we'll go give a second or a third or whatever. We don't know what the answer is. And of course, Buccaneers fans see the play. This is the thing that always makes me laugh. a lot of people are happy to trade him because they feel that he was very subpar last year. But their demand for him is extremely high. And it's like, how can you turn around and go, we don't want this guy, but we want the highest thing, we want the highest possible pick we can get for it. It's like, it doesn't work like that. When you're trying to shut, I mean, I think this is why the Buccaneers are shutting it down and saying, we don't care. We want him. Now that could be the smoke and mirrors effect of slyly saying, we don't want to get rid of him because they don't want to reduce his price. Because at the moment they say, well, yeah, we're shopping him, then that's when everyone else is looking at them like, okay, well, we'll only give up to a 5th round pick. And the Buccaneers are like, well, I don't give a 5th round pick. Whereas they say, no, we don't want to get rid of him. No, he's staying here. He got 1 more year, so he's going to do his 1 more year, and then he can do what he wants.
Yes, this is basically a game of chess. Who is going to make the best move and best option? And the Bucs were smart to just say, no, we won. Slick, you're right. This isn't a smart situation for Devin, to be honest. Devin, you haven't done. Devin White has not done enough, because I think this is really just about money. I remember his rookie season. He talked about he wants to be the $100 million man, but in order to be the $100 million man, Devin, you would have had to replicate 2 years straight of their Super Bowl run that he did in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't done that. Has he had solid seasons? In my opinion, solid, not elite. And we've all been talking about.
I'd say he's been a top 10 linebacker 2 out of 3 times, 2 out of 5, 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So in his first season, he was finding his way in the league. Secondly, he was on fire. The third year, he was pretty good to great. I'd say top 10. I'd put him in the top 10 argument. And then last year, he completely fell off a cliff and kind of regained his footing. But the thing about the Buccaneers that interests me about this is they're not, by saying they're not going to get rid of him, that doesn't mean someone who's interested going, look, we've heard that you've got a player that wants to leave. What do you want for him? And we'll go, well, we don't really want to get rid of him, but if we had to, and he does want to, he has said that he wants to, he's interested to leave it. He could leave, but Coach Bowles needs him. Like, people don't understand. If he starts giving, like, this isn't a free for all where he can just go, yeah, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. We'll get some picks. It's all good. When Coach Bowles is playing for this season, by giving away him for nothing and not being able to replace him is probably suicide for him, because he can still draft somebody next year. Yeah. Devin White, when Devin White joined the team, he was a rookie. So they can go and get a first-year rookie again. Levante David started his rookie year pretty much every single game as well. So there's no reason that they need to panic, because it's only a developing player that you want to bring in, like a 4th-round pick that you're going to bring in and slowly they bed in. Mm-hmm. But realistically, the Buccaneers don't have to do anything. It'd be nice to get something for him, but I believe they'll get a comp anyway. They'll get a comp pick out of him because they let him. He left. Yeah. How good of a comp they get for a former 1st-round pick, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things where if he leaves, you have to focus on a linebacker in the draft. Now, I do think that we have the draft that is open for a decent amount of linebackers. They might not necessarily immediately replace him, but they're on the upside. So I'm not too worried about it, but at the same time, if you don't want to be there, I let him go, get what we can, make the best of it. But honestly, Devin, you're not getting $100 million anymore.
No one's
paying
$100.
Hey, I got $100 million question for him. Hey, Devin, $100 million contract for a linebacker, that would be what we would all consider the complete linebacker, right? So I want to bring up the subject of pass coverage and filling your appropriate gap and over pursuing. These are all things you need to work on if you want to be a $100 million quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry, linebacker. Now, that said, we got someone in the lobby, guys.
Let's do it.
Bring our boy in.
We're going to bring him in. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him on Twitter. You've seen him on YouTube. You've seen him all over social media. He is the host of the You Buck That podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Gage is bringing on to the screen to say
What's
and
up,
talk
guys?
all things Buccaneers.
Nice to be on. I appreciate it. I see you guys, Creamsicles, hats. I'm still
Yeah.
getting used to the idea because I'm still like we're gonna look like ice cream out there, but it should be interesting.
Hey, AJ, before I jump off here because I'm going to be bouncing on and off. Gage, thank you so much for joining us. AJ, you were talking about a video, a Buccaneers throwback song. Is that correct?
That's right.
I think I got you hooked up. I'm going to play this. Let me know if I got the right one for you, brother.
Hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs are hot and ready to play. Hey, Tampa Bay, feel the power.
I've seen that one, but the one I was talking about, it was like a little commercial on UPN 44 when it was in Tampa.
Well, I will find that one too. I also want to throw a nod way back to the Hey Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine from 1979. For all you people on stream, you weren't around. Unfortunately, I was. Gage, again, thank you. I'm going to bounce off here, guys, because I got more videos to find for you. Want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's on Twitter watching. I see some retweets. Hey, Buck Salty, don't be scared. I put the link in the chat. Jump on board. Everybody on Twitter, YouTube, check the comments section. If you want to jump on and talk with these guys, the link will be there to join. Simple process. Enter your name, have an internet connection, click. You'll be in the lobby. We'll get a ding, and we'll bring you on. I'm going to turn it over to you boys now. But when I come back, I should have some surprises.
My man.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you. But yeah, no, and to back it up, Gage, yeah, we might look like ice cream, but as long as we melt the competition, I don't care.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope we have a little bit more success than in the previous years when we awarded us. That's all I'm asking for.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. No. After 79, it was the irony. It was the dark ages, even though we was wearing the brightest things out there. Trust me. I remember coming up in the 90s in Tampa. Until 95, that's when we finally found hope. But I remember those younger years where you could give away tickets to those games because nobody was watching. But yeah, no, tell everybody about yourself out here that wants to get to know more about you. You know, like how did you get started on this, and you know, why are you a Bucs fan?
Why am I a Bucs fan? As you guys may know, I was actually grew up a Vikings fan for a long time. I was, as you can tell, I was a Vikings fan up until I moved here in Tampa, because I was looking for somewhere I can kind of get involved in the community and the fans. And as a Vikings fan, I didn't really feel that connected, so I decided to become a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. That was actually there in 2021 when Tom Brady was in his second year. Fortunately, I missed the Super Bowl, so that was kind of a stinger. But yeah, I actually started out. I was a fan of The Witcher when it first came out, so it didn't even start out with football. I just woke up, did a video, and then it kind of just exploded from there. Started going on with football, and then it led me here.
I can dig it. I can dig it, man. I can dig it. So, we've been, talking about the Devin White situation, how he's asking for a trade, and we trying to figure out what we can get out of him. But I want to ask you this: if you were Jason Light, because in our opinion, I think he wants to be paid. Would you give him $100 million? If not, what would you give him if you were Jason Light?
I would not, and I would be if I was Jason Light, I'd be looking twice. I'd be like $100 million. Like, don't get me wrong, Devin White is a good linebacker, but $100 million is for a guy that's in the top 5 to top 10. Devin White's not even top 15 ranking in PFF. He's ranked number 17, and he's had some inconsistency on the field. Coverage, a lot of people point out that he's struggled in that department. And a lot of attention's been drawn to the Bucs, and not good one, obviously. On Instagram, he's saying goodbye. He's just didn't explain his for gratitude, but now it turned out to not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So that all comes in question, and I would not pay him $100 million. Maybe I would say maybe around 11 to 12. That would be me, because that's more a friendly deal. But the Bucs kind of taking on the cap this year. It'd be better just to draft someone and try to trade Devin White for compensation, like a second round pick and maybe a couple lower picks. That's what I would look at if I was Jason Light.
Okay, I like that. You're right. he'd be getting maybe 50 if I was him. I'd say 50. I'd give you 30 guaranteed, maybe, but you're not getting no $100 million. The question. Slick is we've already discussed this. We've talked about this for a while. His coverage stinks, to be honest. He doesn't have good coverage. Now, in my personal opinion, I think he's being misused. I think Devin was never, in my opinion, a well-rounded cover like type of linebacker. I think he's more of a Micah Parsons hybrid. I think he would be a better guy if we used him to rush, or because he's good at stopping the run. We know that, but his coverage, I think he would have a better chance if he became more of a pass rushing linebacker. But that's just my opinion. But I don't think his coverage skills will get any better. You've been with Levante David your entire career, and you haven't learned nothing. And we've already talked about this. Devin White is a splash maker, he's not finesse. He's not a conventional guy where he's, gonna give you what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency, yeah. So I think Devin, it's one of those things where I loved what he did during the playoffs, but his fundamentals will never be, when it comes to pass coverage, will never be what it should be. So I'm not giving him no $100 million, and he doesn't deserve it. And I think it's not delusional, but I think he's being unreasonable, because if he goes to other teams, they're going to ask, well, why should we give you $100 million? What have you done since the Super Bowl, as you said, to make you a top 10 to top 5 linebacker?
Well, here's the thing. You look at the $100 million question, which is what's on everyone's lips. There's only one off-the-ball linebacker. I hate that term personally, but a true middle linebacker that's actually paid that, and that's Roquan Smith. That's the only one. So the Fred Warners of the world, the other guys, they've all got their paychecks. They're not paid $100 million. They're paid under that. I think one's 95, one's 90. So you're looking at someone like him at maybe an 80 to push over the course of 5 years, or maybe I'm more leaning towards the 70 side of things, because you want more consistency. And you also got to remember, you're playing in Tampa Bay. It's a haven for tax, so you're already saving on top of your money already straight off the bat. So you can literally bang $10 million off that. On top of that, so that's your $70 million contract becomes an $80 million contract. You go and play somewhere like New York or in California, you can pay a heck of a lot of tax. So
Philly,
Philly's just the same. So when I look at what this is, you sometimes got to take those things in. There are different types of players. There's players that want to be legacy, and there are players who want to make the most, and that's fine. I've got no problem with either. You find legacy players will want to be on talented rosters. And I'm seeing a little bit of that with Devin White, because he has been seen. I think someone posted a picture of him someone did like a mock-up of him wearing an Eagles jersey, and they're saying, make this happen. And he was like, yeah, I'd love that. Green's my favorite color all of a sudden, and all this shit. So if you're going to do that, then that's absolutely fine. But, it's documented, it's all there. Someone compiled a list. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And it was all the things that he's done. So it was like said that he wanted to be $100 million player in the building. Then there was the whole he was caught saying goodbye or something like that. And he was, oh, no, it wasn't about that. And then there was talk of trade, and he waved that off. And then there was someone did a mock-up of him in another jersey. Now all of a sudden he's asking for a trade. So the question is, why now? Like I said to you at the beginning, top of the show, why now? What's the point? Because no one's got any money. They've all spent their load. They're all saving their money for draft day. Now, after draft day, something might shake loose to someone who's got a bit more cash. But you usually find the teams that got the most cash are usually the teams that aren't the best. I think that's the Bank Cornet.
Hey, yes.
Sorry, I had to make that grand entrance, boys. Hey,
No
see what
problem.
happens when I get bored at home and watch wrestling too much? AJ, I'm really trying over here, so I'm play you another video or two here. Gage, you have to bear with us. This is some really old stuff, but
You're good.
the boys above you will tell you I always do my best to give them what they ask for. So here's two different versions there, buddy. See what you think.
Buccaneers, go Bucs! Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs know how to shine. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay.
No.
No,
No,
my
but
family.
I was salivating for a little bit. I
Yeah,
was like,
my family. That's why they play the Buccaneers. Go Bucks. That's my
my
shit.
daughter even chants that.
Yes,
All right, one more, guys.
that's my shit.
Hey, 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 we're the Buccaneers. Ho, 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 we're the Buccaneers. Offense, defense, now we're here to say, make the Lions walk the plank, throw them in Tampa Bay. Hey, hey, hey.
So it was really lame back in the day, bro.
That sounds like something from a SNL skit, but I love it though. But Buccaneers, go Bucks. That will always go hard to me.
Hey, fun fact, every time that I'm over here editing an article or typing one up and I get to the word Buccaneers, I literally do that in my head. Buccaneers. Okay, cool.
That's how I'm gonna teach my child how to spell. They're gonna be like, wow, he can really spell. He's good at that. He has to.
What a long word Buccaneers is, and it's like, you got your daughter sat there. Imagine that he's like in a spelling bee, and they're like, spell the word Buccaneers. She's like, Buccan.
Exactly. And he should win just off of effort, right then and there.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, but
Hey, but you guys were talking Devin White, and
yeah.
I have to agree, dude. $100 million, Devin. Here's the thing, bro. You're an impact player. You're a splash player. You have arguably the fastest linebacker in the league. We can make that argument. That's cool. But you've been standing next to Levante David now for what, 3-4 years?
Mm-hmm.
And Levante came into the league, and guess what? He too initially struggled with pass coverage. So what did he do? He fixed it. He got better. Devin, if you want a $100 million contract from a team in this league or any league, you're going to need to have a complete game. You're asking for Tom Brady play, and you're giving us Joe Flacco performance. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, just like you. Joe Flacco put up great stats, just like you, but it's not Tom Brady. Therefore, you're not going to get Tom Brady money. I would be comfortable with something in the 4-year, 65 to 80 million with about 25 to 32 guaranteed. That we could swallow as an organization. But to do a $100 million contract on a team that is basically purging salary to get where they need to be, and the fact that, we're talking about we're taking it on the chin this year to clean up the salary. We still have 11 contracts with voidable years on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this season's going to clean up the roster and the money we're going to be good. We've got 1 or 2 more years of this same BS in the offseason. And kudos to the Buccaneers organization. You made some great additions despite being capped by the cap. And you retained Levante, you retained Jamel. So you've done pretty freaking good. But $100 million, Devin, yes, it would lower the salary cap hit for you this year, but trading you also sheds $11 million off the cap this year.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I feel like be careful. You might get what you ask for, because I'm pretty sure there's not a no trade clause in a rookie contract, bro. So keep talking, Devin. You'll be able to do plenty of horseback riding when you're playing for the Houston Texans. Okay? Just throwing that out there. Be careful what you wish for. Now, boys, I hate dominating the screen because I don't want to. And, I'm not as handsome as you three. So I'm going to jump off here. But we've got those 3 loaded up on StreamYard. And, of course, if you hear the breaking glass, like That means I'm coming on, and I'm going to come on hot. Gage, let's hear some more from you about this, because I know, being a younger Bucs fan, and nothing personal, that you weren't initially fond of the creamsicle coming back, and I get it. Okay, it does. I grew up with it, wearing it. I grew up being the kid that got picked on. You're a Bucs fan, dude. But I think when you see it on the field, when you see the stadium wrapped in creamsicle, it's going to be a whole different vibe. But I do want to hear what you have to say about that. And of course, I want to send out massive love and respect to the two boys on top there, coming from the United Kingdom and coming from the North. Great. Are you in the Northeast still, AJ?
Yeah, I'm still in the DMV area. That's right.
Okay, you're not out in Cali right now, right?
I wish, but no, not in Cali, not anymore.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you taking the time, and I will now jump off here because I don't want to take up more show. We're probably killing the viewers. Also, shout out to Ben Cornett in the comment section. No, there's no facial appearance tonight, bro. Were you kidding me? I don't want to get banned on the internet, but all right, guys. Great.
Thanks. Well, we already was talking about the creamsicle, but I wanted to ask you this, Gabe. Because this is an important question, and I know other Bucs fans, including Slick and myself, we definitely would ask this. In your opinion, what other players on the Bucs have a far more upside that you would rather pay than Devin White? Give me two players.
I saw this earlier, and honestly, I would be focused more on Winfield and, man, I'm trying to think the other guy that's under contract, but Winfield is a start. Like, he's made impact, and as a safety, he's top 5. Now he's earned a half of that contract. I mean, there's so many players that definitely that whole contract Devin White's asking, that could be going to Winfield and many players that need resigned. And I'm about to have to start with Winfield.
I think that's
works.
Yeah, that's the Winfield and Wirfs. Those are the two. That's what you're right, Gabe. Those are the two right there that have a far more upside than Winfield. I mean, than White. And the thing is, like you said, it's amazing that Winfield's already a top 5 safety. You wouldn't have told me during draft year. I knew he was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to be that good so fast, and he's an impact guy. Wirfs, I knew Wirfs was going to be good. I didn't know.
That's the guy I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to be, damn, we might have a Hall of Famer already. Those are the guys that see, and the irony is those two are not chirping or talking as much as Devin. I think Devin's problem is that I sometimes people, when you're inner circle or you have to talk to yourself and really be realistic. Yes, that Super Bowl run that he had, especially in New Orleans, that is what he solidified Devin is. And back then I was like, oh, he is going to be that guy. But then afterwards, his ego overshadows him, because do you remember when Warren Sapp accused him of loafing?
Warren, and Warren Sapp. I've been watching Buccaneers for a couple of years now, and I've never seen him call out someone like Devin White. And it's very valid, because Devin White, even during that Falcons game, remember they started catching up in the second half. Devin White, and this is your captain speaking, he's like, yeah, we get a little bored putting a role on a team.
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, like, that's not what you say, man. Like, you put your role on a team. We almost got beat. That's not putting your role on a team.
I remember I did a thing on that, actually. I did not a YouTube, some social media stuff on that, and it was him going, yeah, well, when you're whipping a team's ass, sometimes you get a little bit bored. And I was like, yeah, that never used the word bored. He should have used words like, sometimes you get a bit complacent, and then you have to try and find that gear and get back into it. Luckily for us, we got back into that gear. That's the right thing to say. To say that you were bored being paid millions of dollars to go and kick someone's ass, a job that myself personally, and probably AJ as well, I'm not sure about you if you ever played football, but most of us would want to go out there and fucking kill someone for fucking 50 for a couple of mil.
Yeah, for 1% of what they make. Absolutely, it's a disrespect. It could come off as disrespectful for the game, and you're robbing the fans of this money. So wait a minute, you're getting paid. you want this 100 million, you better not ever be bored. You better
never be bored.
You better always be rejuvenated and thankful. And that's why I'm glad Warren Sapp did what he did. But it showed more on Devin's character, not Warren. You will, because first of all, Warren Sapp is a legend. He's arguably the greatest defensive tackle ever play. To me personally, he is. I don't give a damn what they say about Aaron Donald, but Devin White, the way that he reacted, showed me that he's got a lot of growing up that he has to do as well. Because if anything, you take the advice from Sapp and you could talk to him. You're a Buccaneer. You can reach out to him or to shut him up your game. He upped it a little bit, but not to the point to where the thing that's frustrating about Devin White, and I think we all can agree on this, and I want to ask you, Gabe, at the end of the season, it's always when someone asks you about Devin, you have to sigh first. When we talk about Winfield and Wirfs, it's hell yeah, that's the guy. He's the future. With Devin, it's I don't know. Is that the feeling that you got after this season watching him?
Yes. Because I was very disappointed with his play this year. And I was like, man, Devin, maybe he'd be best to let him go at this point if he's playing like this, like especially if he wants to get paid, because I believe I already heard he's kind of looking at getting top paid. And I was like, man, this is not going to be like, especially how his energy's been as a leader. And I was like, I'm not feeling it. Luckily, he kind of stepped up when we played the Ravens. And that's when he started to step up as a player. But when I saw this news, I was kind of different because I'm like, it's not too big of a loss because we get capital for him and it would help us overall almost better than if we paid him.
Mm-hmm. I think, I think for Devin, this Slick, like you said, why now? This might not be the best time. You're doing this a few weeks before the draft. What if the Buccaneers find a way to finesse this? What if we were able to snag a fourth or third? I think a fourth or third, I think all Bucs would be like, hey, I'm cool with that. And we get someone in the draft to replace him. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the same Devin White-esque, but someone where you go, okay, this guy actually might be able to be a consistent, solid player. He might not be Devin. That I think, Slick and Gabe, that could be devastating. That would really hurt because he's got to, like dude said, where you gonna go? Eagles.
I don't know. I'll have a snoop in a minute and check what the cap situation is for each team right this second. And we all know each team's going to use up about $7 million based on their draft picks anyway, roughly.
Yes.
But the issue I see with Devin White is like you said, where are you going to go? Because teams like the Eagles don't have that they're not going to pay you. Not because they can't, not because they don't want to, because they can't. They don't have the money available, right? And that's for the sake of argument, if they wanted to, then they've got to want to pay that money. So they've got to want you, they've got to trade for you, and then pay you. You saw it with Roquan Smith. They traded, they got him, then they paid him. You've got to do all three. You can't do half of it. No one's going to trade something to have a guy on their roster for only a year. It's just not feasible. Or what? I mean, maybe giving up a 4th round pick for a guy for an entire year is not the end of the world because 4th round picks don't really amount to a heck of a lot. Yeah. But when you really break it down, the Buccaneers, we'd like to get a 2nd round pick, but you've got to be realistic. As a player that's been up and down, it's like the problem with when you're a fan of a team, and I've seen this across social media at the moment, is everyone who's pro getting rid of Devin White is expecting high reward for it. Well, hang on. If you're looking to get rid of somebody, not because they're just saying that they want to go, but you're looking to get rid of them, and you're only accepting a 1st round pick or a 2nd round pick, then they should be really, really good. But they're not, because you're getting rid of him because he's subpar. So you're looking now in the 3rd and 4th round pick section. That's kind of where we're going to be looking at, I would say.
Yeah, and in the 3rd and 4th, it has to be the 3rd would be a steal. The 3rd or 4th is a steal. And if I were Devin in this situation, it would have been smarter for him to outright play his final season.
But then he can go wherever he wants.
Exactly. You can go wherever you want. And if you put up those type of numbers, now you would have put the Bucs in a harder situation. So let's just say if Devin got his shit together and he decided to stay, and all of a sudden this season, 140 tackles, 11 sacks, 7 interceptions, 3 of them were pick sixes, and he had 4 forced fumbles. Now
the Buccaneers will be like, well, let's find that check.
Exactly. Let's find that check. And that's what we're saying. And we know realistically he doesn't put he will never put those type of number up. Not with us anyway. I just think, in my opinion, again, he thought he was more than what he was. I think he's more of a Micah Parsons hybrid, because Micah right now, but the funny thing is Micah might surpass him, because Micah Parsons what if he grows into becoming a covering linebacker, then it would be over for Devin. Because like Dude said, the only thing Devin has as his advantage is his athleticism. He is a freak of nature when it comes to his speed, but that's only going to work for so much, because they're going to say, okay, but we need you to drop in coverage, though. We need to use your speed to your advantage. Why can't you cover? Then he's a liability. But Gabe, what is your thoughts on, let me ask you this again. Now, do you think that his behavior will affect the team, or is it just going to be, they're going to say, hey, this is business, it is what it is, and we'll be fine without him? How do you feel?
It's definitely going to take into account, because especially how his reaction has been. It's during the season, because that's where it matters. It matters like when you need a guy to step up, and especially when you're struggling, you need someone to not say, "Oh, I'm getting bored." It's like, "Hey, man, like there's a lot of things we got to work on, and we need other guys to step up." And Devin White, how he's been reacting on Instagram, Twitter, that doesn't say a leader to me. You look at the best leaders on teams, they don't be doing this on Twitter. So I think that's all going to take into account, and especially his play overall, it's going to all take into account.
Well, I said I'd have a little look. Well, here's the teams that have more than 10 million in cap space available right this second: the Los Angeles Chargers, the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Rams, the Carolina Panthers, and the Chicago Bears, and the Baltimore Ravens. Well, the Baltimore Ravens did go and get Roquan Smith. They're probably not interested in getting somebody else.
Now,
it's not impossible, but I think the Buccaneers are just being smart and say they don't want to trade him, because at the end of the day, Coach Bowles needs him to be here, because if he can play back to his 2019 or his 2021 self, then he knows that he's got still got a really stout run defender. And if they can work on his pass coverage, he could turn around and just be just a bit better than he's been in the past. Then that's fine. Maybe they re-sign him, maybe they don't. To me, the optics of this, I would say, makes it look like he's just given up on the Bucs, because he was when he came to the Buccaneers, we were a dog shit football team. We had no quarterback at this point in time, right? Well, we didn't know what was going to happen. We were in the same situation that we were this off season that we were in, but we signed Baker and what have you. But we just lost. We let Jameis Winston go, and the team had no future. Or when he joined the team, we had Jameis Winston, who was still no good, but he stuck by us, and he was this. Now it's time to go and leave. It just seems really odd. Like he's either been upset by somebody, so someone's had harsh words with him, or he can't take the critiques that he's getting. Maybe that could be a pale into it. I really don't know. But the issue with him is he's not putting it on. He's not putting a good name out for himself. And other teams will see that too. They'll look at me, do we really want this headache of a player? And he's only this good. He's not. Like you take a headache if the player's like a TO. You take a player if someone's got Gronk ability. You take a player if someone's playing like Levante David and has got a bit of a big mouth. You take that because that's part of because that's you kind of have to. Yeah. But when you're a player that's had a bit of a high, and it's not a consistent high, he hasn't trended upwards. He went up and then went down, then started trending down. Now, if we had 2021 was his baseline, which is where he would his averages, and then he goes up to say his between his rookie season and Super Bowl season as his highs and lows, then he's a player that's probably worth about 80 million over the course of
Right.
5 years.
Agreed. And that's the thing. He hasn't shown that anymore. And also, now people are going to say, well, wait, was it really you, Devin, or was it Levante? Because in the Super Bowl, who was guarding Kelsey? Levante, not Devin White.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we needed someone to check a wide receiver up the middle, it wasn't Devin, it was Levante. Or if it wasn't Levante, it was Antoine Winfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think Devin. We're not gonna talk about you all night, Devin. But damn it, you in a way you're putting yourself in a position, like you said, good organizations that want to win are not gonna be pleased with that. You talking about Philly, as you said, Philly they don't have the money and they don't want anybody to mess with their bubbling, because Jalen Hurts is the kind of guy where you want to rally behind him. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to be a no-nonsense kind of individual. He's not going to stand for Devin to just throw a fit. But I was looking at those teams that you were talking about. Out of all those teams that you mentioned, can you mention those teams again one more time? That's over the cap.
I'm looking at a different sheet, so just give me a moment, and I'll just.
Yes, and I'm going to direct this question.
We'll go down. We'll go the Bears with 30 million. Panthers with 18 million, Lions with 17, Colts with 14, Packers with 17, Cardinals with 12, Eagles with 14 million. And the Eagles have the money.
So, Gabe, minus the Eagles, what other team do you think that he mentioned would be desperate enough to maybe say, hey, we can't do second, but we'll give
Cowboys,
you a third?
Saints, Chargers. Yeah, there's a fair few, but to be honest, I wouldn't say there's anyone that jumps out at me personally.
What about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I would say that. And honestly, the two teams I could possibly see is the Seahawks and the Lions. I'm not sure what their cap situation is, but I would say those are the more logical spots for them.
Who was the other team you said, Age?
Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, so the Seahawks have about just under 6.
So
they're saving their money for the draft, and then the other teams, the Lions, they got 20. They've almost got 26 mil, so they're in quite a healthy cap position.
I think Detroit, because they want to win, they might say we can't do second because they got to get their pieces, but I can see them saying we can give you a third. We'll give you a third. I could see, do you think the Chargers? They
I don't know the linebackers' names off the top of my head. I know the Seahawks have got Jordan Brooks, who's quite good.
Yeah.
I know the Chargers just signed Eric Kendricks, and I'm trying to say, they do have Khalil Mack, so they have a few linebackers there. So,
but with Devin White being there, because Khalil is getting up there with age, I could see them saying, and he's a splash kind of guy, he could probably spark that defense up. And they still got Bosa. You Bosa, Devin, and Khalil. Now you're looking at a formidable linebacking core. I think the Chargers would be like, hey, a third. Those are the Detroit and the Chargers are the only two teams where I could see us realistically getting a third. Everyone else, I think you're right.
Here's a team that doesn't have the cap that might be interested in the Bills. Because the Bills wanted Levante. And they lost Jermaine Edwards, so they seem a logical point. Whether they can afford him or not, I don't know. They'd have to do some salary cut magic, which they could easily do. And that's the thing. Just because teams don't have the cap doesn't mean they couldn't sign him, because all they have to do is do those voidable years, which is what everyone's doing now at the moment. So
right,
they could easily do. Anyone could realistically sign him. And so if you're looking at that, maybe the Steelers want to get the guy that they really wanted instead of the goofball that they got in Devin Bush.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting few weeks for Devin. I do think for this, I hope Devin, I hope you know what you're doing, because this is a gamble. If you don't, get to wherever you want to be, you might like Dude said, you might mess around and be in Houston. You might mess around.
This is what I think will happen, right? If he has a subpar or just an average season with the Buccaneers and he doesn't leave, so he leaves, he will sign a 1-year prove-it deal with the team.
Okay.
That's exactly what will happen if he doesn't have an elite year. If he has an elite year and the Buccaneers can't afford to sign him, or they can't afford to franchise tag him, which is something that they could do if they wanted to too, but that is probably paying him about $20 million, which is what he wants. It's just you're only paying it for 1 year, so you want to see the consistency. Okay, you were great last year, you can be great this year, and then you get the $100 million. That's behind curtain number 2.
Yeah.
If he leaves, then I think he plays elite. Someone will just cough up the dough. I think someone. It might not be as much as he wants, but it might be in a tax-free state or a place that's a little bit with a lot more, or maybe the guaranteed money's better. So they're like, we won't pay you the $100 million. Well, what we'll do is half your contract will be guaranteed. So if someone turns around and you say you get $80 million, but 50% of it is guaranteed. So your first 2 years are fully guaranteed. You take that.
Of course. I agree. If he does stay with the Bucs and he plays lights out, he would have to play it in such a way where it overshadows the two people we were mentioning, Antoine Winfield and Wirfs. It would have to be to the point where I would say, oh, wow, he is like whatever he is fixed. If he would have to be an average coverage in pass coverage and keep his dominant run. And as I said, those numbers I told you with those sacks and interceptions, I don't see that. See, that's the thing. I'm banking more on Winfield elevating. That's the guy that I'm saying, wow, he might mess around and get 10 picks, and 3 of them can be pick sixes. He's the one that can mess around and get 8 sacks. He's the guy that's going to cause 3 forced fumbles.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Devin is underestimating those guys, and that's why I would love to know what guys like Antoine Winfield and Levante. I wonder what's going through their heads. I wonder.
I don't think they think too much about it because you got to remember football teams are pretty close knit anyway.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised that they're just like, well, he wants to get paid. He's not happy. We just don't know what the issues are with him because obviously we're not in the building or what have you.
Yeah.
Maybe him and Bowles have gone back and forth when he had that lackluster few weeks where he was very, very poor, where he was lazy for his runs. He was being outrun by D linemen, that kind of thing, where it's quite embarrassing considering you're one of the fastest linebackers, if not the fastest linebacker in the National Football League. You have those, and for me, a lot of people don't like Bowles because he's stoic on the sideline. For what I hear, he is an absolute monster on the practice field and in the film room. So behind closed doors, he tears it up. It's just he's not a very emotional person on the field.
Yeah, we see that.
So maybe he does tear a few strips off him and he doesn't like it because the first few years he was seen as like you got to remember, guys, this guy's got a fucking C on his chest.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just hit me. And I'm like, this guy's got a fucking C and he's complaining he's bored. This guy's talking about being lazy and it has to get called out by a fucking legend to up his bloody game. Really?
Yeah. And for whatever reason, guys, it's we just have bad luck when it comes to drafting LSU linebackers. Either they start out good and they can't do shit, or they have promising careers and they get hurt. Do you guys remember when we drafted Beckwith?
Yeah, he was promising.
Yes, he was promising, and him and Quan together would have been devastating, but he couldn't stay healthy.
No, he couldn't stay healthy. That was the issue with it. Didn't he have like he got in a car accident or something?
I think so. I just know Beckwith.
I'm looking at what we thought.
I was more looking forward for Beckwith than Quan at the time because, yeah, it's just us than when it comes to linebackers, LSU. I don't know. We might have to just mess around and get fundamental linebackers and not athletically freakish guys because Quan was another one. He had the athletic abilities, but
he flew.
Yeah,
how we got him in the 4th round, I will never ever know.
Me neither. And
that was an absolute steal for what he was. We just weren't willing to pay him the kind of money that he wanted, which is very reminiscent.
He sucked in pass coverage too. He was terrible in pass coverage.
and he was a bit like a he moved so fast that he'd lose his leverage, and then
Yes.
he'd over pursue. And all someone has to do is slow down when you're coming down as like a demon on someone. All I have to do is stop, and you're just going to fly straight past me because you can't regather your steps. By the time you've done that, regained yourself, I'm off again. So and you see it all the time. It's all about when you're in an angle motion, we do what's called a step and gather. So you're coming down, you're breaking down. They'll gain more yardage this way. They might gain a yard or two, but it's better than missing the tackle and they free it for fucking 20.
Right. And you can't stop your momentum. And that's how sometimes those low-key injuries happen, because you have flown so fast. Now you done tore something in your ankle, or you run into, or God forbid, you run into your own guy and you both knock each other out. That's why I tell people sometimes speed is nothing if you can't control it. If you don't know how to control your speed, it's useless.
Yep.
But I do think, in my opinion, like I wanted to ask you this. Like, let's say he does leave, and again, hypothetically, third or fourth pick. Is that going to put a strain on the Bucs to draft a linebacker, or do you think we still go?
You're saying we get a third or a fourth for him?
Yeah, if we get a third or a fourth, do we still stick to the plan of drafting early in the trenches?
Yeah, no, I think you stick to that because I'll have a look at what we got on the roster. But I think if they can find, where's Kevin Minter these days? He was the dude.
I think he's still there. Minter's still. I think he's still around.
I'm looking him up while we talk. I'll look him up. But there's guys there that they can bring in and do the job, because Minter has done the job pretty well.
Yeah, he's just slow. That's his only thing. He is slow.
But when you're only doing the run, does it matter?
No, it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't.
It's fine. It's just you're going to end up giving a yard or two. You're not going to get as many tackles for a loss. Your tackles are going to be at the line of scrimmage or 2 yards in. So we'll take that if that's what it is.
Right.
Let's have a look where he's at.
Please, Minter still be there. He might be gone.
He was with the Bucs in 2020. He's gone. He wasn't with the Bucs last year.
Oh, that's right. Minter. Dang. Yeah. For me, I get him being gone, but we can still draft linebackers. So if anything, we don't have to get another Devin White. We can just get depth. You get guys that can rotate and help out. I'm still going in the trenches, like you said, because I think certain fans that I was looking at on Twitter, they were like, oh man, if he leaves, that's just going to be a gaping hole. I'm like, yes and no, because we wasn't really using him as a pass rushing linebacker anyway. So the main thing is to be strong in those trenches. You don't want Vita Vea getting worn out. When Vita Vea is not present, that's when the run game is awful.
When it comes to the pass rush and things like that, and your run defense, you need to have solid guys that can eat up blockers and allow your linebackers to stay clean.
Yep.
Because ultimately, the reason linebackers look bad is because they've got hit by a lineman. Now, it's a much harder job to shed a center or a guard because he's got to the second level. So if you can just get the lineman to keep them clean, your linebacking core doesn't have to be brilliant. The best linebackers in the best teams in the National Football League don't always have the best linebackers in the National Football League.
Nope.
So if you were to go for who plays linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I can't even name it off the top of my head. No.
Exactly. Okay. Who plays linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl winners?
Again.
Eagles.
Eagles.
See, what does it about mean? So my point being is, you clearly don't need it. I see the inside linebacker position a little bit like the running back position, because I always look at it as reverse running back anyway.
Yeah.
You pick a lot of these guys who are picked up who are elite are second to third round picks. Some of them are firsts, not very many of them. And it's the same with the running back position. The money is probably stacked slightly higher in the linebackers, because money for running backs is dried up big time now, mainly because they don't stay healthy for long enough, because they can just get the tires worn out. And I look at those two positions similarly. because you verse them each other, you put them in verses in your positionals and stuff like that. So they're always kind of linked back for backer, that kind of thing. And I always look at it in that perspective. So I think you can go get somebody in the 4th round that can do a serviceable job. I think you can definitely get somebody in a 3rd round pick, because a lot of these guys who are in the top 10 of the linebackers of the league are 3rd to 2nd round picks, most predominantly. And then there's a couple of 1s and 4s littered in there as well. So
that's right.
It's very possible. I mean, you can't rule it out. You just don't know what you're going to get on the day. I think you could probably find a guy who's undrafted. You've got more chance of hitting on an undrafted free agent, bringing him in to be able to be serviceable to do the job. Doesn't have to be elite, because like I said, if your D-line can keep him clean, he can go hunting. That's right. What you want. That's all you want.
That's what we want. And again, if you have rotational guys, that's another plus, because now your guys can always play fresh. You don't have an overdrawn out guy where he's like, I'm in here. I've been in here literally 13 snaps. I need air. With that being said, then you can we could say, okay, this guy has athletic ability. Let's get him in there when it comes to rushing the passer. This guy is good at fundamentals and he's a better coverage guy. So let's put him in there when we know that they're going to be 9 times out of 10 a pass play. You mix it up, you switch it up. And that's what I do agree. We need to go to according to this plan, the trenches, the line.
I don't think you can go too crazy. The only thing I would say is you can hold off. You can hold off on a safety a bit more now, because you've got Neal in. So I think you don't have to go. You can go 4th round with him if you. Oh, we don't have a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
That makes it a bit more difficult. It just depends on you've got to go what's available. I would say the Buccaneers need to go O-line, D-line, and then it's between edge and safety.
Yes.
That's my coin. That's my coin flip. And then what I'm looking at, and you could possibly add inside linebacker if Devin White goes in that conversation. And what I'm looking at is what's the drop off the next time we pick. So which one has the worst drop off? And if the worst drop off is for defensive tackle, then you draft the defensive tackle first, because you've got no choice. At least you can still get something with a bit more value in the 5th round.
Right.
Or maybe you just, leverage some picks and get into the 4th. You get rid of a 6th round pick and you leverage one of your 5th round picks and you pick in the 4th. I don't know. And then you can pick another guy. But you're also if you're getting rid of Devin White, you're going to get something for him. If they get a 3rd round pick, then I'd just use that 3rd round pick to draft his replacement. Right.
You either do that, or again, there might be 2 people in the 5th and 6th where you go, oh shit, we hit the jackpot in that third round that we get.
Kendall Beckwith was a 5th round pick, I believe, and we all knew Quan was a 4th. So
yeah,
never say never. It's the linebacking position. I believe Jordan Brooks, who plays for the Seattle Seahawks, who's quite a good linebacker, he's not a high pick either. So there's a lot of guys, and that's why I liken it to the running back position. There are guys that are serviceable that I think sometimes players just got to take to coaching. And I believe that I think we'll go safety for one reason and one reason only. Look at what Coach Bowles is.
A defensive guy.
He's a defensive back. So I think he wants to have, and I think a lot of the coverage disguises and stuff that they do, you need very smart safety. So only having 2 safeties that can execute that makes it a little bit too easy for teams to figure you out. You have 3 that can do that, then you've got a rotational piece, and then they'll probably bring in either a free agent that's possibly available. Here's a crazy twist of the knife for you almost. What if the Buccaneers went back to old Donovan Smith on a vet minimum deal?
I wouldn't be upset with that.
No, because I'm not losing 13 million.
Right. I wouldn't be upset. I would not be upset. And he knows the system, and he still would have something to play for. And now that kind of, in a way, that means you get, if he were to come back, and let's say this is before the draft, now your priority could be a defensive tackle in the 1st round, and then the 2nd round you can get a lineman. Just in case if Donovan doesn't pan out, now you got that guy that's back there that can support him Oh yeah, that would be a hell of. Then if we get that extra third round guy because of Devin, now you have a chance to get another offensive lineman talent, if or whatever, or a safety, because and then you get a safety. You could do so many things with that. That is a good twist because he hasn't been picked up yet, has he?
Nope. There's quite a few guys that we could generally get away with bringing back if we absolutely had to. I think the biggest loss, realistically, for the Buccaneers right now, other than the obvious ones, this is an under radar guy, is Josh Wowles at tackle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that would work in our favor, really. Now, if he would want to come back, that's a whole different story. But I think he would want to play, so he would take
If you
some
play,
money.
you've got more chance of playing the next year, right? That's how I see it. Look at Cam Newton; he's coming out and saying all these outlandish things and what have you. You haven't been in the league, so you don't get to pick nothing.
Don't get me started with him. The shit that he says, and they don't even realize sometimes the way you carry yourself is how owners are looking at that shit. They're like, wait a minute. Oh, you really still? Oh, you want to be an asshole and you haven't even done anything? Yeah, thank you for your time. Donovan, I don't think he's that kind of person. He comes back with humility and hey, I just, like you said, I just want to play because you never know. What if he has a season where he is just straight average and he doesn't, and then he cuts his penalties in half. Now you have a position where you have a bargain, you still can have a bargaining chip for Donovan. That would be so well because then we would have depth. That's what this team needs in the line. You always want depth in the trenches.
Sure.
I mean just imagine, Donovan, if that happens, what you said, then we can get a for sure defensive tackle in the first round that is going to help Vita. Oh my God. Can you imagine if we have two studs?
I got you going now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like you said, the trenches is where it's at because now the pressure isn't on I think it's more pressure getting an offensive lineman than it is a D lineman.
Yeah, because we don't know what we've got on that either right tackle or left tackle right now.
Right, and now if you get somebody, that's familiar. Now you get that knows the system. Now you're not as nervous. And then if you draft somebody behind him that can eventually replace him, let's say he's the kind of guy where he needs a season under his belt to grow. Now you don't have to worry about that, and he can gradually do that. A defensive tackle, though, I want Vita to have help. If you can imagine having a first round stud with him.
Mm-hmm. Right, we've got our old friend just come back to join us, so we're bringing the Bucs School Gang is in the house.
What's up,
man? I've been busy, man. But I think you were gonna go out this early till 12. We said 12 o'clock noon.
Oh yeah, no. We had to work, but what is your thoughts on everything? On Devin, like the draft and all that.
Yeah, Devin White, man. Do you think he's gone?
He's gone.
Bucs said we're not trading him.
It depends on what we get for him.
Bucs said we're not trading him.
It's a business move. You don't give away something valuable without someone wanting it first. You give it away. That's a surrender. You're
basically, School Gang. If you turn around and say, "Yeah, we're thinking of trading him," then everyone goes, "Oh, right, so the price is low," because they feel you have to get rid of him, right? Whereas if you say, "No, we're not, whoa, we're not going to trade him," and they'll go, and then one team who's maybe a little bit desperate, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the desperate team knocking on your door because they've heard a rumor. They're going to, oh, there's a rumor that someone's still interested. And they'll go, Devin White wants to leave your team. And you'll go, yeah, but we don't want to get rid of him. Well, what if we offered you a second-round pick for him?
Could we get the number 10 pick from Philly?
No.
You're never going to trade for somebody. Right. Here's my question for you. To answer your question, I'll ask you a question. How good is Devin White?
Elite. He's elite pass. He's elite linebacker.
So would you say he's a top 50 linebacker?
Is he not good without Levante David? Let's imagine with him without.
Well, I'm just saying. Do you think he's a top 10 linebacker?
Without Levante David or with him?
It doesn't matter. Do you see him as a top 10 linebacker?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he could.
Do you think he's worth $100 million?
He proved it. Do you think he proved it?
I don't
Well,
know. I
we're
didn't see
asking.
anything last year.
Yeah,
Last
not
year, I would
last
say he
year.
played
And,
like
Last season.
a $5 million linebacker at best.
and Buck Skull,
Yeah.
the simple fact that you had to ask, is he good with or without Levante? That should already that negates what you just said. You answered your own question. The simple fact that he is mentioned with someone else, that doesn't help his case. If you're an owner, you're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Why do you if I have to question if you were good because of somebody else, then that's not good. Devin White should be a
They won't
stud.
know that. Would they know?
We won't get. Look, put it this way: we won't get a first round pick for a player that's only got 1 year left. 1 year left on his contract.
Can we get a late first round pick, maybe?
No.
No.
First round. Look, first and second. I'm gonna be honest with you. Buck Skulls, first and a second is out of the question. That's not gonna happen.
It's gonna be a
What?
third or fourth.
It's gonna be a third or fourth. Now, if we get
You're judging off talent. Most NFL teams judge off how much time they've got with them, because you got to remember, I'm trading for you. I'm trading for this player. Then I got to go pay him, right? And I got to pay him $100 million. So it's not the case of I'm getting him. We're giving you this really great thing. I've also got to pay him the moment he steps foot in the building.
How about this? If that's your best, if that's the only chip you need, if that's the only player you need to make your team great, you put all your chips in one basket, right?
the only thing is, again, the teams that are one player away, a lot of teams still can't afford that. Like maybe the Eagles,
It's 7
like
teams, it's about 9 teams.
Yeah, but are all those teams Super Bowl bound? Detroit is not Super Bowl bound just yet.
You don't think
There's
this
only
year?
a handful of teams in the NFC that's Super Bowl bound, and
You don't
that
think Lions are, I think the Lions is ready this year.
no,
I don't think they're Super Bowl bound. I think they're playoff bound.
they're playoff bound, but not Super Bowl bound.
Without Aaron
Rodgers,
Rodgers, AFC, without Aaron Rodgers come.
They've still got to go. They've still got to go through the playoffs, though.
right?
Yeah.
If Devin is smart, his best bet would be to stay in the NFC, because the NFC.
Go to Seattle. Can we get? Maybe we talk to Seattle.
They can't afford them. They're $6 million.
Seattle's only got $5 million in cap.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
They've also got Jordan Brooks, who's actually a really, really good linebacker.
Will we trade him? Will we trade him into the NFC South rivalries?
If they give us a third or a second, then yeah, I wouldn't care if he went to Carolina. If Carolina gave up a second round for him, I wouldn't care because that would be tremendous for us. But
would you want the draft pick? Would you want the draft pick for this year or next year?
No,
this year you want to be able to replace him.
Yeah, this year's draft is very important, Bucs. This year is gonna determine where the Bucs go as a team.
Yeah.
For the next 2-3 years, because if they fail miserably, they're setting this franchise 3 years.
Should we talk about this Mike Evans and the Chris Godwin rumors are still heating up today? Did you hear about the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin rumors are still going on?
There's always rumors about Mike Evans being traded. It'll never happen.
Yeah, it's not happening.
How about this? If we trade Devin White, first domino to fall, does that mean Mike Evans out the door too?
No. You gotta understand, Evans been there longer. So
how about this? If we get first one pick for Mike Evans, you not pulling the trigger?
No. Not
you got to hit on that pick. You got to be able to replace Mike Evans.
Yeah, I was about to say who you going to replace.
It's not. It's having a first round pick.
We have Chris Godwin.
So then we have one number one. We have no number two.
Yep.
At the moment, one of the things that makes Tampa Bay still a threat is the fact that we have 2 number 1 level wide receivers. That means we can get away with putting a donkey at quarterback and survive.
Yeah.
You take that away, this season's done. You take Mike Evans away, the season's done.
We don't think if we draft a receiver, you don't think we can find it.
What do you want to use that first? Right, you've got your first round. You're the GM. You've got rid of Mike Evans. Well done. Now you've got a first round pick. What are you going to do with the first round pick?
We can draft. We can get our offensive lineman. We want it. Okay.
So
there we go.
So you're okay. So now you've got a little bit more of a solidified line. You still don't know it is because it's still a rookie player. There's no guarantee that they're going to turn into anything. Because look at the draft. Look at the draft that we drafted. The 4th bet on paper. I won't say on paper, but we drafted the 4th taken offensive lineman when we took Wirfs. Yep. He's the best of his class. So just because you drafted the best one that's on paper doesn't
Can we
mean
do it
he's going to
again?
be the best one in the game.
Can we do it
Yeah,
again?
no, and
It's
Bucks
possible.
and Bucks. This is Mike Evans. He's one of those once in a while type of receivers.
If somebody gave us the best offer, would you be taking that deal if you're the Buccaneers?
No, not
He's
for
on the team.
Mike Evans because you don't have
I'm a
anyone.
loyalty person, right? And one thing I hate it when people talk about players leaving. When Quan left, a lot of
As a
people.
Bucs fan, we have to be realize that we never all the players we have to be prepared if we do get traded though, you guys.
But this is the thing that irritates me about some fans when they do this thing where they turn around and say,
I'm not-
a player leaves. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Mike Evans plays to the end of his contract and then goes and plays for a powerhouse team to finish off his years. He signs a 4-year deal with whoever's the best team in football right then. Everyone will call him out for being unloyal and a scumbag and leaving the team, but it's okay to turn around and go, "Oh, we'll just trade him and get rid of him." Well, he's been loyal to this team,
Yeah,
taking
you're right.
pay cut after pay cut to try and get other people paid. He's literally
Agreed.
turned around and went, pay people with my money. He has missed the Buccaneers.
We trade Rush the Gate first before anything. We trade his ass first.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think you get much for Gage.
Exactly. You got to understand in business, we got to don't think like we are a fan of this team. We like these guys, but you have to think of it from a business perspective. What other teams are going to see. He's not that. Look, those type of guys are not. Yeah, you're not getting. You don't get rid of. That's like saying the Chiefs. You think the Chiefs would take this? Hey guys, we'll give you 4 first-round picks for Mahomes. That's not going to happen. They're going to say no because getting a first-round pick isn't guaranteed. You're going to get somebody just as special. It's all a guessing game, just like with this Devin White situation.
You've got it. But when you trade for I'm a firm believer. When you trade a player for a pick, you need to be able to hit on that pick, and if you don't hit on it,
you fail.
You failed completely. So you don't know Mike Evans, and now you have it's potentially possible a bust offensive tackle. That's what you could end.
Hello?
Our guy that means our guy is entered the chat.
He's coming in hot. He's coming in hot.
Hey, I just noticed something here because I'm watching the show on our TV here, the big screen.
Yeah.
Slick, do you have a full sleeve?
Yeah, this thing goes all the way.
Look at that, dude.
Yeah. Like,
Whoa.
how do you feel about the Tampa Bay Rays this year, you guys?
Hey, Slick just got nominated to Sexiest Man of the Year, bro. Check that out.
Mike Evans would be jealous right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evans would be
guys.
jealous.
Yeah. How do you feel about the quarterbacks, man? The Bucs have been scouting quarterbacks today. How do you feel about the quarterback thing? You think that's just rumors? Bucs are scouting quarterbacks?
I mean, they look.
I think they brought quarterbacks. I think they're looking at who could fall. But put it this way: if you have a guy who's on paper a top 10 pick and he falls to 19, and you think, okay, we could.
That means we're trading up for a quarterback.
I don't think we're trading up for a quarterback. I think they're bringing in guys who might fall in the draft that they are interested in. If this guy falls, for the sake of arguments, Hendon Hooker is slated to be a second-round pick. Let's say he drops and he's still there when the Buccaneers pick in their second round. They may pull the trigger on him if they like what they see. Or they might turn around and go, if he's still there in the third round, because we're going to go, let's, for the sake of argument, we need to hit the trenches. So we go defensive end that can play defensive tackle, that can bounce around, and we bring in we bring in an OT, an offensive tackle. And that third round pick, we've already discussed. It could be a linebacker. It could be probably going to be
quarterback round 1. Would you be surprised if it's quarterback round 1?
I wouldn't be surprised if it is one of the guys that have fallen.
Right.
Because people are talking about, even Will Levis, they're talking about these guys as if they're franchise quarterbacks, right? So if a franchise quarterback falls in your lap, you're a fool not to take it. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was not a high-end draft pick.
Over a left tackle.
I think if you've got a chance to get a franchise quarterback for your team for the foreseeable future, you've got to pull the trigger.
You pulled the trigger because then the rest of the other rounds, that's where you can get your lineman to assist. So if we get a franchise guy the first round, Bucs go, then
Is
the
that-
second round you get a left tackle.
Okay,
Then
then if we do draft a quarterback,
yeah.
if we do draft the quarterback, does that mean Tallboy's job is safe?
No, his
No,
it's a lot,
it just means he's developing a quarterback.
right.
That's all.
That's all
That
that
means
is.
not give him more time, 2 more years. Then
No,
No, because technically, to be honest, it gives the OC more time.
right.
Because
Exactly.
the thing is, if he has, let's say for the sake of it, we get Will Levis. That's the one that I think is going to end up the people talk about dropping. That's considered in that top 10.
I think it's Hooker.
Hooker's not a first round pick though. He's not even
Yes, he
slated
is.
to be a first round.
Yes,
No, he's
he
not.
is.
He's a second round pick because he's got an ACL injury. No one's
I was
touched
going
him.
to say, isn't he a third round?
But
pick?
he's a steal,
He's a
though.
he's a high third, low second, and I think he might go high second. But Hendon Hooker's not down to be a first round pick on any mock draft I've seen.
He's a steal. He's not a steal.
No,
Round one?
not with the ACL injury. Do you want a Tua situation where you got to worry about your guy being able
That's
to
why we
survive?
rest him, you guys. If he's there at 19, you rest him for 1 year.
Maybe.
We can't afford to rest a
You
guy.
can't rest because then if you rest him, then how do you know what he's gonna be the next season? You see them. The Bucs are in a we got
to get it now.
We got to get it now because if we,
But
if
I'm
we
telling you, there's going to be a second round quarterback. There's going to be a second or third round quarterback that can play day one.
Quarterback classes next year are better. You want next year's quarterback class, or you want this year's quarterback class?
But you can't.
We're not in the realistic look. The Buccaneers are just entertaining options to see what, if anything, falls because they've heard things here and there that certain players might fall in the draft, and it happens all the time. But Hendon Hooker's not considered. If Hendon Hooker's drafted first round, it would be shocking.
Very shocking.
Is there a chance we'll trade up in this year's draft, you guys?
No,
I don't think you can rule it out, but I don't think it's going to happen for the sheer fact that the Buccaneers to move up in the draft from where we are. So let's say we moved up from where would you like us to move up to? Give me a number.
Maybe it's in the top 12, top 15.
In the top 12. So you want us to move up 7 spots.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good spot.
To move up 7 spots, you're probably giving up your second round pick, guaranteed.
Yep.
For next
you
year?
may have to give up a fifth round or a 6th round as well. So you're mortgaging more
next year's picks. Those next year's picks. Okay. Bye next year's picks.
I don't think that's how that's gonna work. I don't think that organization is gonna say, okay, we're gonna give up the year after pick. That would make no sense. Like
you've got to be if you're gonna do that kind of thing, you've got to know that the guy that is there that you want is the future. That is like we're going hard on this boy. And like Carolina's done, that's what they've done. They're going, we're going to go balls deep in this. We're going to put all our fucking caps on the table, and we're going to go after this quarterback.
If we do trade up if we do trade up, it's gonna be dumb if we fail. If we trade up in this year's draft, it could be a bust or good.
That's the point. We don't want to do that. I don't
think you trade up. You only trade up if you 100% go. This is what we want.
Right.
If he's there, if the guy if he's falling from 1 to 10, if he's falling, he's getting closer.
I mean, you could sit there and wait. It all depends on the Bucs' opinion of him. But at the moment, the only ones I've heard that the Buccaneers have entertained is Hendon Hooker and Will Lewis. And
there's just
how do you feel about this, you guys? I was wondering how do you guys are feeling. There's 2 quarterbacks we're looking at. There's 2 quarterbacks that are nice.
That's fine, but that's not always guaranteed.
Can they beat it?
I think if Will Levis falls to 19, they might take him. But I don't think they'll trade up to get him.
Over the best left tackle, left available.
The best left tackle is way gone by then.
Yeah. All the tackles.
We'll get the 4th and 5th best tackle at that point in time. 4th to 6th best tackle in the
right.
Here's the thing: would a quarterback will be starting over Baker and Kyle Trask? That's my next thing.
You don't know because they're going to take. That's what I mean. When you're drafting somebody, they need to be able to because you've just spent money on Baker to come here. That's only $4 million against the cap, realistically.
But you can
You
release
could
him,
have
right?
signed somebody else. You could that could have gone towards having another running back. That could have gone towards having.
Can you release Baker? Release Baker any time in his
No,
contract?
he's got a signing bonus of $4 million, I believe.
Oh,
His contract's fully guaranteed, except for the $4 million that he will make in incentives.
And we can trade Kyle Trask as trade bait, right?
To who? For what? He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't.
Trade him for what?
I know. Would somebody take
People
him?
only want to go for a guy that they know can do something.
Right.
He hasn't done anything.
No, no, Buckskull. That's called wishful thinking. You have to be realistic in this business. Why the hell would I go for something that I've never seen? That's you don't do that.
A mystery.
No mysteries. No, because mysteries is what get people fired. Mysteries is what gets organizations.
If you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you end up shopping Trask, so you're like going, oh, we're putting Trask on the trade block. You're going to get low ball offers anyway because you're saying we don't want this player. Please take him off our hands. And that's what you're doing. And the trade block is the dumbest. Putting a player on the trade block is the dumbest thing you can do because you devalue them the moment you put them on it. What you want people to do is knock on your door, going, "I've heard rumors from agents and stuff because this is what happens. That you'd be open to going, we're doing some things with this person. And they go, well, what if we offered you this? And you go, okay. Well, you make it sound a little bit harder than that. You go, could we get a 6th round in there as well, or could we get a 7th round pick, or what about that punt returner you got? And then they go, oh no, that's a bit too much. And you go, okay, we'll go back with your original offer then, or something like that.
Yeah. Right. That's how you do that. That's a business.
You've got to make them come to you because the moment you are saying, please take my player off my hands, they may as well go, well, we could just wait because you're going to cut him anyway.
Right. Right. Or
what's really the best offer for Devin White? Let's be real. What's really the best offer?
A 3rd round pick.
A 3rd round would be a winner for the Bucs. If we can get a 3rd round, that would be tremendous.
I really thought that would be a loser because it was a 1st round pick. I don't know
just because he's a 1st round doesn't mean he hasn't played.
1st round pick doesn't mean anything. He's a very good linebacker. I won't deny it. And someone might go as hard as a 2nd round pick, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
it's got to be a team. It's got to be a team that's desperate for one that thinks, like you said, really thinks it's going to change their fortune. Someone like Devin White's going to change their fortune.
Maybe the Eagles. Well, Eagles.
Maybe, but that's a big maybe. You're banking on.
Got no money.
But they have to pay. And remember, the draft is coming. They got to have money for draft. Again, and then they're going to look at it. A 2nd round. You're talking about if this was his 2020 season, then yes, it'd be 2nd or 1st. But that's not it. I think you keep him. You play, but Bowles doesn't want to get rid of him. Nope.
It doesn't work for Bowles because the moment Bowles gets rid of him, he has to find his replacement. His replacement has to play as good as him, at very least, he has to play as good as him. That's the only way you can take the job. Would you give Coach Bowles another year if that defense doesn't play well? Yes or no? But you traded Devin White, so he trades Devin White, then he drafts a guy. That guy doesn't pan out as well as he should, or has a bad rookie season. And the defense is a top 20 defense. Do you give him? Sorry.
Say that again.
Right. So hypothetically, you just said we get rid of him, and this is why I tell you we won't get rid of Devin. I don't see unless the offer's really good. Maybe a 3rd round pick they might go for. I think they want more. Like you're talking about. It's in his best interest, Coach Bowles' best interest, to keep him around because he needs him because no one's going to give him another chance if his team whiffs.
He wants $20 million a year, though, you guys.
I know he wants $20 million a year. He's probably not going to get it from anywhere.
Nope.
Me and AJ discussed the fact that if he plays with the Buccaneers and has as good as a season as he's had last year, he's going to get signed by somebody on a 1-year prove it. That's a fact.
If he has a breakout season, if he
has a breakout season,
that's different.
Argue the point, but you can always franchise tag him.
Right. And let me ask you this, Buckskull. Who has a more upside right now? Antoine Winfield and Wirfs or Devin White?
Winfield.
There you
And
go.
I
There you
go
go.
Winfield, then Devin White.
So
No.
there you go. That's the whole point. There's too many other players on this team that
That's why I said. That's why I said let's trade him. We can give that money to Winfield next season.
but you got to understand, it depends on what they give up, and we got to worry about this season.
We can draft for Branch a safety. Back. Remember the boy Nolan Smith.
We're definitely drafting a safety. It's a
Hey,
guaranteed fact. I
Nolan-
wouldn't be surprised if our pick in the 3rd round is a safety.
Right.
Hey, Nolan. I like the boy Nolan Smith from 19. Nolan Smith from Georgia. Hey guys, do you think Jalen Carter will be there from 19? Did he tackle?
I don't know about all that. I don't know.
Can he be like Warren Sapp kind of thing?
Hey, you never know. But and then that's the thing at the beauty of draft night. We don't know what's going to fall into our lap.
Right.
We might get nothing. One of those franchise quarterbacks could drop. One of the Broderick Jones could fall into our lap, which is kind of what me and AJ are hoping for.
Or we could trade a pick and trade down. For next, how about this?
Like I said, you trade down.
We can trade down this year.
I don't have a problem with the Buccaneers trading down.
We can trade down this year and get an extra first for next year.
Whoa, no
one's giving you a first for a first. No one's giving you 2 firsts for a first.
Yeah, Buckskull, that's not how that will work. More than likely, you trade
especially
down
at 19. Especially at 19.
Yeah, you trade down, you more than likely you're going to get more picks in other rounds, like the 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah,
I think the Bucs can trade down and they get an extra 2nd round pick and maybe a 4th. Now that would be a win. Hey, we're going to give you an extra 2nd round and we're going to give you another 4th.
Hey guys, we could trade down to 33, can't we? Like we did last year.
You don't want to do that because that makes no sense. You want to get more picks.
It all depends on what the Buccaneers want.
Yeah.
Right. So in their mind's eye, they will have a draft board for their top day 1 picks, right? And they'll have these guys ranked in order. If most of them are gone and the only one that's available is the really low end ones, or all of them are available, because the more that's available, the more you can trade back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. No, but Bucs on that. That's the whole thing of anything. Because I'm going to get off in this right now. But
how do you feel about the Tampa Bay Rays?
We'll definitely talk more about this, especially Monday. You're more than welcome to give us a call in.
Tampa Bay Rays, the season's still intact, baby. The Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh yeah, I hope they win it all. Hell, I hope they do. After the
162,
against the Phillies,
162 is still in reach.
Hey, we'll see what happens. But on that note, we'll let you go, Buckskull game. We'll holler at you.
We'll catch up soon
for your time. All right.
You too. Have a good night.
All right, take it easy, my man. But yeah, on that note, I'm gonna be out too. But yeah. Always a
pop
pleasure.
off at the same time.
Yes, always a pleasure. So again, all you Bucs fans out there, we appreciate it. Please feel free to hit us up on Twitter, wherever, and talk to us. We're always here, and always check us out especially on Mondays, the aftermath, 9:30. We're here always. It's always a brilliant time talking to Slick about this. And as you can see, we just got fans out there who have the Buckskull mindset. Sometimes that's a good thing. We love hope, but we have to have always think of business and reality first, because that's what those GMs and owners do every damn day. We might think someone is special, but there's going to be other professional people who are far better than us to say, yeah, statistically, that don't make sense. But with that being said, check us out again. Always. It's always a pleasure. And always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Okay, guys, that is the end of the show, and I will catch you all guys soon. Look after yourselves. I'll see you on Monday. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs.